Guys, myself Dr. Rasool. Today on Med is we will discuss the remaining topic of the previous lecture, which is the male reproductive system, and we will discuss today the next half of the male reproductive system, which is linked with the accessory glands, for example the prostate gland, the seminal gland and the urethral gland, as well as the ducts of the male reproductive system. Later we will discuss the structure of the penis. But before discussing the next lecture, today we will discuss a bit about the previous lecture. For example, in the previous lecture, we have discussed that the testis, which is actually, for example, this is the structure of testis, and I have zoomed here. This structure of the testis, it is covered by a layer of the fibrous connective tissue, which is called the tunica albuginea, and the tunica albuginea on the posterior of the testis form the rete testis, and from the rete testis there passes the septas, which are called the septular testis. Because of it, there will be the formation of compartments within the testes, and these compartments are actually known as the testicular lobules. I have now showing you guys what these structures are meaning to you. For example, this is the tunica albuginea. This red hole covering it is called the tunica albuginea, and this tunica albuginea on the posterior of the testis form the mediastinum testis. This is the mediastinum testis, and this mediastinum testis passes the septas, which are called the septular testis. Because of it, there will be the division, there will be the formation of compartments within the testis, and these compartments actually have a seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubule, there passes the sperms from here to the tubular recti. You people are looking at it. This blue in color, this is the tubular recti. This is the tubular. This is the tubular recti, and these tubular recti then unite with each other and form the rete testis. You people are looking at it in the green color. This is the rete testis. As our topic today is the about the ducts, so there are two types of the ducts within the male reproductive system. The first one is the intratesticular, and the second one are the excretory ducts. These tubular recti and the rete testis, they are actually the intratesticular ducts, and when the rete testis unite with each other, it passes the sperms towards the when the rete testis unite with each other, it passes the sperms towards the epididymis. Epididymis then unite with the for example, we have discussed it, and this is all about the testes, and this is the epididymis. For example, this is the epididymis. For example, this is the epididymis, and from the epididymis it unites with the ductus deferens, and then the ductus deferens unite with the short duct from the seminal vesicle. Now we are discussing in detail. Let's have a look at the at this structure. For example, this is the ureter that carry the urine from the kidneys and passes it towards the urinary bladder. From the urinary bladder, there arises the urethral projection. From there arises the urethra, and and before discussing it, we discuss it the testes. The testis actually passes its sperms towards the epididymis, and epididymis, which is actually have a pseudostratified columnar epithelium. What is the function of the epididymis? Epididymis actually it is 6 to 7 meters in long. Epididymis, it is actually 6 to 7 meters in long. It is actually 6 to 7 meters in long, and the function of the epididymis are very important to the male reproductive system. For example, when the sperms produced within the testis, it actually stored in the epididymis, first one, and the second one, there will be the transportation of the sperms because of the epididymis, and the third one, there will be the reabsorption of the fluid, and the fourth one is that there will be the protection of the decapacitation factor. You people know that when the sperms are injected into the female reproductive system, the capacitation process occurs there. What is the capacitation process? Is that when the sperms are produced and the sperms are stored in the epididymis. For example, sperms are stored in the epididymis, then there will be the glycoproteins which are released by the there will be the release of the glycoprotein from the epididymis epithelium, and these glycoprotein then cover the head of the sperms, which are called the decapacitation factors. Then that decapacitation factors remove in the female reproductive tract, and the one most important function of the epididymis is that it causes the maturation of the sperms. For example, it causes the maturation of sperms. So we have discussed that the epididymis actually have the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. It have functions. For example, it causes the maturation, storage, and transportation. It causes the maturation. This was all about the epididymis. Now epididymis then unite. For example, looking here, this is the epididymis. The epididymis then continues with the ductus deferens. This is the ductus deferens. For example, this is the epididymis, and the epididymis then continues with the ductus deferens, and the ductus deferens then unite with the short duct from the seminal vesicle. Looking at here, for example, this is the ductus deferens, and these are three accessory glands of the male reproductive system. For example, this is the prostate gland, this is the seminal vesicle, and these are the bulbourethral glands. You people should have a very clear knowledge that seminal vesicles are the paired structure, bulbourethral, which are also called the Copioids gland, are also the paired structure, and the prostate is the single one structure. And seminal fluid, which actually consists of 2 to 5% of testicular fluid and the spermatozoa. Then the remaining 90 to 95% actually come from these accessory glands. You people should have kept in mind. Now we will discuss the ductus deferens. The ductus deferens, it is actually a continuation of the epididymis. The epididymis continue into ductus deferens, and the ductus deferens then unite with a short duct from the seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle, which are also called the seminal glands. And seminal glands actually contribute 65 to 70% towards the seminal fluid. Now, we should have very clear thing in our minds that seminal vesicle secretion are very important because of some very important functions. It produces the, for example, it produces the fructose. The second, it produces the fibrinogen. The third, it produces the prostaglandin. The fourth, it produces the citric acid. Now, fructose. Why fructose is produced by the seminal fluid? Because the fructose, it is the energy source for the sperms, and the fibrinogen, when the sperms are actually released from the male reproductive tract, it certainly becomes coagulated. It's because of the fibrinogen. And when the sperms are lodged into the female reproductive tract, then there will be the contraction of the uterus, there will be the contraction of the smooth muscles of the uterus because of the prostaglandin, and citric acid, it is also present in the seminal fluid. This was all about the seminal gland secretion, and it actually consists of pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Now we will discuss the bulbourethral gland before discussing the prostate gland. Bulbourethral gland actually contribute to 5% towards the seminal fluid. Bulbourethral gland, actually it is present in the membranous part of the urethra. This is the exact location of the bulbourethral gland. It is the membranous part of the urethra. You people should have kept in mind that this is the bulbourethra, and it actually consists of simple columnar epithelium. Now I am giving you a very quick view of histology of some important structures. For example, the tubula erecti and the testis. Tubula erecti actually it is have epithelium of the secretory cells and the simple cuboidal cells. Testis actually have the simple cuboidal cells epithelium. And a very simple mnemonic for you people to remember is that from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle, the epithelium type is pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Epididymis have the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Ductus deferens have pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Seminal vesicle have pseudostratified columnar epithelium. And when the ductus deferens unite with the short duct of the seminal vesicle, it forms the ejaculatory duct. And ejaculatory duct also have a pseudostratified columnar epithelium. For example, this is the ejaculatory duct formation. This is the ejaculatory duct formation, and ejaculatory duct also have a seminal. Ejaculatory duct also have a pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Now we are discussing the structure of the prostate gland, which is very important. This is the prostate gland. What I have draw here, this is the prostate gland. You people are looking at various colors here. These are actually the different zones. For example, this is the prostate gland, and this is the urethra. This is the urethra, which is piercing the prostate gland. You people are looking at here, and you people are looking at here the urethra piercing the prostate gland. Now come to this structure that this is the prostate gland structure, and the prostate gland, it is pierced by the urethra. Then it is surrounded by a zone which is called the central zone. Then it is around it there will be the transition zone. Around it there will be the transition zone. And around the transition zone there is the peripheral zone. For example, the prostate gland actually consists of the three zones and the urethra. This is the urethra, this is the central zone, this is the transition zone, and this is the peripheral zone. Actually, the glands which are present in the central zone, they are called the mucosal glands, and the glands which are present in the transition zone, they are called the submucosal glands, and the glands which are present in the peripheral zone, they are called the main prostatic glands. They are called the main prostatic glands. The central zone has a contribution of 5%, whereas the transition zone has the 25% to 30%, and the major contribution is because of the peripheral zone, which is actually 70% almost. And before discussing the next thing, we should have the secretions which are released by the prostate gland, which are very important in by the way. For example, prostate gland releases, first one is the serine protease. The second one is the fibrinolysin. The third one is the zinc. The fourth one is the prostaglandin. These are actually the four components which are released by the prostate gland: serine protease, fibrinolysin, zinc, and the prostaglandin. Serine protease and fibrinolysin are very important because when the sperms are released and they are lodged into the female reproductive tract, it causes the liquefaction of the sperms in the vagina. And these two substances are very important. Because it causes the prevention of coagulation of the sperms, which is very important within the female reproductive tract. Because if there will be the formation of the coagulation, then there will be the no proper fertilization ever, and because of liquefaction there will be the mobility of the sperms within the female reproductive tract. Because of it, there will be the fertilization that will be done properly. And we have to discuss two clinicals which are actually related with the serine protease and the fibrinolysin. Serine protease, when the usual level of the serine protease within the male seminal fluid is 4 nanogram. But when the level of the serine protease become higher than the 4 nanogram, then there will be the formation, then there will be the occurrence of the prostatic cancer. The prostatic cancer, it is actually linked with prostatic cancer. Prostatic cancer actually linked with the peripheral zone. For example, it contributes towards the 70% zones. Whenever there will be the serine protease level higher than the 4 nanogram, then there will be the occurrence of the prostatic cancer. There are the higher chances of it. The second one is that the fibrinolysin. The fibrinolysin actually it is linked with the transition zone. When the fibrinolysin it is there is abnormality of it above 40 years of age persons, then there will be the formation of the benign prostatic hyperplasia. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, there will be the abnormality of the prostate gland. There will be the size of the prostate gland will be higher, and more size contribute to the abnormality of the whole of the seminal fluid secretion. We have discussed up till now, what we have discussed is that the intratesticular ducts, the excretory ducts. Intratesticular ducts, for example, the tubular recti and the DT testis. The excretory ducts, they are the epididymis and the ductus deferens. The ductus deferens unite with the short duct of the seminal vesicle and form the ejaculatory duct. There are three types of accessory glands. The first one are the prostate, the seminal vesicle, and the bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland are the paired structures. Seminal vesicle are the paired structure. Prostate is one in number. The prostate, it is present posterior to the urinary bladder, as well as the seminal vesicles, which are also called the seminal gland, are also present posterior to the urinary bladder. We have discussed it up till now, the accessory glands and the ducts. Now our last topic is penis. Before discussing the last topic, we also have discussed that there are two clinicals which are actually relating with the prostate. First one is the prostate cancer, which is related with the peripheral zone, which is relating with the serine protease, and the second one is the BPH. What is BPH? BPH is the benign prostatic hyperplasia, which is related with the transition zone, and it is because of the fibrinolysin. In the end, we discuss now the penis, which is a very simple structure of it. This is the structure of penis. Penis actually have two types of muscles. The first one is the corpora cavernosum, and the second one are the corpora spongiosum. It is also called corpus spongiosum and corpus cavernosum. These two muscles are called the corpora cavernosum, and these two muscle, this muscle, it is called corpus spongiosum. These two muscles are present on the dorsal of the penis, and this muscle is present on the ventral of the penis. And urethra actually pairs the corpus spongiosum. Now have a look at it. This is corpus cavernosum, and this is the corpus spongiosum. This red layer, you people are looking at red layer. This is called the tunica albuginea. And this red layer, it is also called the tunica albuginea. This black in color, you people are looking at black. This black is the intercavernosum septum. This is called the intercavernosum septum. We have discussed that penis consists of two types of muscles, corpus cavernosum and the corpus spongiosum. Corpus cavernosum are present on the dorsal, and the corpus spongiosum present on the ventral, and the urethra pairs the corpus spongiosum, and the corpus cavernosum and corpus spongiosum, they are actually covered with the tunica albuginea. Now, penis actually have surrounded by skin. below the skin there is present the superficial fascia, and below the superficial fascia there is present the D fascia. There is a superficial fascia below the skin, and then there will be the D fascia. The superficial fascia, it is also called the Buck's fascia, and the D fascia, it is also called the Dux fascia. It is also called the Dirter's fascia. We have discussed the penis. It actually consists of skin, and below the skin there is present superficial fascia, which is also called the Buck's fascia, and below the superficial fascia there are present the D fascia, which is also called the Dirter's fascia. And penis, it is actually the copulatory organ which is used to inject the sperms from the male reproductive tract to the female reproductive tract. This was all about the male reproductive system, and what we have discussed in the male reproductive system. First we have discussed the testis, then we have discussed the seminiferous tubule, which actually consists of two types of cells, spermatogenic cells and the serotely cells. After it we have discussed the intratesticular ducts, and then intertesticular ducts, which are the retitesti and the tubular recti and the tubular recti. Then we discussed the excretory ducts, which are the epididymis and the ductus deferens. Then we have discussed the accessory glands, the prostate, urethral and the seminal vesicle. After that we have discussed this. After that we have discussed the transition zones of the prostate gland and the two clinicals related with it. And in the end we have discussed the structure of the penis. It is all about the male reproductive system. I am hopeful that you people are following me. You people are enjoying myself. And if you feel any query about anything, you can ask in the comment section. I will be very thankful to you. I will be very thankful to all of you guys. Thank you very much.